What is up, Steeler Nation? We are back with another episode of the Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy, with a very special guest, and I think that he is eligible for return. We're going to get to it on the one and only Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy. Shane, hit it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy.
Harris Smith shields. Flacco, Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
The sickest Pittsburgh Steelers podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
All right, Jordan, wonderful guest today. He's kind of Pittsburgh's adopted son. He's a West Coaster. But absolutely a folk hero in Pittsburgh and a pretty damn good football player, too. So we're excited to welcome in today none other than Zach Banner.
What's
Zach,
up, guys?
what's going on?
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Okay, first of all, do you get sick of the tackle eligible thing? Are you? Okay.
Not at all. It's a
That's
part of my legacy.
We asked ourselves about that, and I was like, I'm saying it anyways. I think he'll appreciate it.
No, we were going to say it regardless. You probably get it every time you do an interview.
Yeah, no. Especially with like Yinzers like you guys. Like, it is what it is. I love it.
Fair enough. Well,
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us once more. We're excited to delve deep into what you're up to currently. So first, let's talk about that. You know, you're somebody obviously that wants to keep playing football. Where are you in terms of furthering your career, Zach?
Definitely at the later stages of my rehab / recovery and comeback. And 2023 is my year, and I feel like I'm ready to get signed and go work out somewhere and play somewhere. I'm excited, man. It's been a long journey. I mean, to spend those 4 to 5 years in Pittsburgh, year in, year out, like year round, living there and making it at home. There was definitely a grieving process that I had to go through last year. And that's kind of why I didn't play last season for anybody. Not only just obviously the rehab for my knee, but, you know, Pittsburgh means so much to me on and off the field. Regardless of what people think about me there and how they feel about me. I love the city. I felt the love back. I reciprocated it on and off the field with the passion and the work, and, you know, to work my tail off for a year, you know, on roster, but never active and in a development phase, to having the 72 as eligible year, which was a blast, to dealing with an off season of COVID, going into a competition, winning that competition, being one of 32 in the National Football League. There's only 32 starting right tackles, and tearing my knee in a Monday Night Football game, plain and simple, during a contract year. I definitely feel disappointed with the ending part and the latest part of trying to rehab but not be healthy, working my tail off, with all the things that were against me, and not being able to be on that field at all. Really, really disappointing. Was really, really hard for me as a competitor and as a guy who's been at the top every single stage of his life, high school, college, and getting to that and earning that in the National Football League in the city of Pittsburgh. That's a dream come true. I was just watching Yellowstone and yesterday, great show. And one of the older gentlemen, I forget his name, it's the latest season. One of the older guys, when they were herding the cattle and out on that 4-day trip, he went to sleep and didn't wake up again. And they said that was the most glorious cowboy death that he could have had. And I felt that, because I don't give a shit what you think about how, like, I played. The people in that facility know who I was, who I am, and who I want to be. And I feel great now. I've really, my therapist kicked me out in January. She said, "You're good." So life is good, man. I'm working on my body, my mind, and my soul to make a comeback. And I miss Pittsburgh a lot. I really do. But it is what it is, and this is a business. And if I have a new journey, it's going to be a new journey, and it is what it is. But Yinzers always hold a special place in my heart, always.
Yeah, tumultuous for sure, but it's great to see that you've turned the page. And listen, Zach, once you're a Pittsburgh Steeler, you are always a Pittsburgher. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, so playing with Ben Roethlisberger towards the end of his career, what was your relationship like, and really, what was that like?
Seven's that dude. Plain and simple. Like, my first year there, when I showed up in the middle of that training camp in 2018, like the second, third week of training camp, like the last week, whatever it was, till the end of that season, I don't think I heard my name. I was known as 72. That's what he called me. That's kind of like the most common treatment that he gives to players when they first get there. Just because Ben Roethlisberger, when you first get there, is saying your number, that's good enough. You're not really complaining. At least I'm not. And then it turned into Banner. And we're going over to his house as an O-line every single year, multiple times for different reasons. And the camp, and the roster, Christmas, Thanksgiving, like he made his home open to me. And with that being said, I love the dude with my heart. Like, he's 7. That's my guy. We have a special relationship. The end of that Kansas City game, that last year, that was the year that I didn't come back from the injury, and it was also his last year. Dude gave me a hug after, we're all showered and dressed, and just told me, he was like, hey, man, like, sometimes you got to take time to yourself and you got to get right. So get right. You go your pace, and I love you. And that meant a lot to me. And on top of that, the dude's holding my hand when I tore my knee in New York. Like, there's so many different things and personal stories that unfortunately aren't podcast worthy. They're priceless stories.
For the vault.
And more to come.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. So before I throw it back over to Mike and we get you out of here, we know you're a busy man. Just touch
I just got to go work out. That's all. I just got to go work out. That's all.
You heard it here on the Steelers Crazy
I'm bad for cutting you
podcast.
off. Go ahead.
Back in the lab. Back in the lab. But yeah, just before I throw it back to Mike, just tell us, like, what makes Mike Tomlin a great coach? I think that we asked this to, you were a Pittsburgh Steeler 3 seasons, and, just to get, perspective from guys, we just love it. It never gets old, put it that way, hearing, Mike T's stories.
Yeah, Tomlinisms, right? And 4 seasons, by the way. Yeah. You got to change that.
You have a favorite Tomlinism?
And yeah, we're not here to seek comfort, or what else? We're not here to seek comfort. Standard is the standard. I know that is a Steeler thing, but that's definitely a Tomlinism when he says it 100 different times. We don't care how you got here. I mean, the dude cares about you on and off the field, but there's so people talk about these different coaches when they come in, especially to different programs, new hirings, and they have to emphasize on being the tough guy or the old school coach, or to try to earn respect and to try to create discipline within a room. That discipline and standards already there because of how big of a veteran group we had when I first got here. I mean, you literally across the line from Big Al to Ramon to Pounce to Dave to Big Gil. Like, to be brought into that group as a young guy and to learn from that group and sap all of the veteranisms, right? We're talking about Tomlinisms. We'll talk about veteranisms. He allows that to be a discipline in itself. Like, we didn't have a fine board in the room, which is, a typical healthy way of holding accountable young guys and teammates. Like, we didn't have if you jump off sides, penalty, $25, $50, like other organizations do, because those guys were like, we want to win football games. Like, we don't want to waste time, like, over here worrying about kid stuff. That type of establishment of veterans creates an atmosphere where it's already a discipline and a standard. So that allows him to further his relationships with guys and be a quote unquote players coach without actually being like having to stoop down to the players. There's always still a social hierarchy regardless, but he never established that hierarchy in a sense of dominance and talking down to guys. And that relationship was always great. Like, when he invited you to his house for Thanksgiving, he meant that. And he had his wife and his kids around us all the time, every single week. So that family atmosphere kind of gives that dad perspective and that dad role that you kind of want to make him proud with your gameplay and your work. Simple.
Great stuff from Zach Banner. You can call him 72. You call him the Hulk. At the end of the day, he is Zach Banner, a Steeler for life. Man, thank you so much for jumping on with us, giving us some thoughtful answers. And Steeler Nation is rooting for you, my guy. Get that workout in.
Absolutely. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys for having me.
Thanks,
Stay safe.
Eligible for return, man. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, well, maybe returning with us one of these days, too.
Yeah.
Eligible for return on the Sick Podcast. Steelers crazy, man. So, that certainly an interview that was deep, an emotional kind of interview there. You felt – that was one of the first interviews where I felt like in my soul,
I was about to go – when he started talking, I was about to go grab a Kleenex box. I was like, holy crap, man.
You felt that in your heart, right? Like, nothing was –
it was beautiful.
Contrived,
there's no way around it. It was
fake. Nothing was, it wasn't like notepad stuff. Everything was from the heart. There wasn't a script. That wasn't a speech that you write down. That was straight up.
It's Steeler crazy, raw and uncut from the heart.
That's what it was. It was raw and uncut. It was deep.
And I think that, like, he was like such a cult hero in Pittsburgh. Obviously, he has his own foundation too. He didn't, touch on that, but I know he's just doing great stuff, on and off the field. And like you said, he's a busy man, and he was like, I'm just going to the gym, so maybe 72 is going to be eligible. I'd love to see him back in black and gold. Obviously, you never know how things are. Like he said, football's a business, but it was really cool to just get his perspective. And it seems like in Steeler land again, that Thanksgiving's a big hit.
I'm telling you, man.
He was getting it.
Who do you think throws a better party, Big Ben or Mike Tomlin? Because he talked about going to holiday parties at Ben and Thanksgiving at Tomlin.
I don't know, man. That'd be a tough. I think Ben would have the beer, but Tom would be throwing it down on the grill. Ben
on the
seems
food.
Like a beer guy from this podcast. Yes.
I hear that. I bet Tomlin would have the steaks and
Tomlin's more of a father figure, so he's running around making sure everyone else is okay. It's like, I don't know if that's like an Italian thing, but my mom, like, she never like wants anyone in the kitchen, and she never like will sit down to eat. Like, she'll always be standing. What do you need? What do you need?
That's going to so many Pittsburghers are going to relate to that, because my mom's the same way. You're going to have people in our YouTube comments right now.
Get out of the kitchen.
The same damn thing.
The Steelers are coming on at 8. Get out of the kitchen.
The point that they don't sit down to eat is so true. Never. You're like always trying to make sure everybody else is okay. Like, just chill and eat your food and relax and take a deep breath. We'll handle the cleanup. Let us handle the cleanup. Shout out the moms and the dads. It was just Father's Day. Shout out the moms and the dads here on the Sick Podcast. Steelers crazy in tandem with yinzercrazy.com. Check out the site too. A lot of great new stuff going up on there.
Yeah, definitely. There, I said it. What did I only got one out, but definitely this was a great episode. Again, 72 is eligible. Zach Banner, we appreciate you coming on the show. Best of luck, whatever your future endeavors are. I am Jay York Football. This is Mic'd Up Sports One. And just, check the channel, subscribe. We're just going to be doing a lot of cool things coming up. It's summertime. I'm sure we're going to be doing some live appearances. And we really appreciate all the new subscribers. Tell your friends. We're going to have giveaways, Steeler tickets, you name it. We'll be doing it. Anything under the sun. So it's down there. Who needs the ESPN bottom line when you have the Sick Podcast for all your Pittsburgh Steeler needs?
Just don't show pirate scores.
Until next time, be safe. Enjoy the weekend and go Steelers. Nope. Please don't. Shane, take it.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.